Morning, it's coming up to 8 a.m. UK time on Friday the 15th of October. So I'm looking at the dollar index. It's been quite a crucial week for the dollar index. Well, actually, it's been quite a crucial month, October, so far, because as you can see, we peaked at that resistance level that I've been talking about for a long time. There's a Fibonacci resistance around 94.50, 200 week moving, 500 week moving average resistance just below there at 94.25. So big resistance area. It's been rejected, as you can see. We're pulling back now. If I look also at the weekly chart below, we've got a lot of moving average resistance. We've got the 100 week and 200 week moving average resistances at that 38.2% fib. Right, last week we rejected it nicely, giving us a doji. This week we've done something similar. We've actually got a red bodied candle at the moment. If we were to close below 93.67, which isn't out of the question, it's 30 points or so below where we are at the moment, that would give us a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly chart, which would also be negative. Excuse me, we're overbought a little bit on the weekly chart, nothing serious. Daily chart, we're already seeing the stochastics turn lower now that we've got this negative, this pullback anyway. Not quite a bearish engulfing candle yesterday because we didn't make a new high, but not yesterday, day before. But then we did get some follow through the following day. What else can I tell you? 4-hour chart, worth a look. Testing the 100 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. We pierced below it, but we're just now testing it. Okay, so it does look pretty negative when you look at these charts for the dollar index. I do like to sort of line that up with what I'm seeing on the euro versus the US dollar, because that is the major component. The euro is the major component of the dollar index, so you really have to be aware of what's going on. So now this is showing potential for actual dollar strength. It's actually showing potential for euro weakness, because we're testing the 500-day moving average, which I thought would hold on the downside, but it didn't. And that's around 116.10. So that's why, and we've also got some moving average resistance, obviously, on the weekly chart around the same area. So that's why I kind of had 116.10, 116.20 as my resistance area. There's another reason why I have that, because on the 4-hour chart, we've got a 23.6% fib there at 116.14, and we've got the 100 period moving average on the 4-hour chart coming in around there as well. So there's quite a lot going on at that level. So that's why basically I am happy to try a short here, as long as it's a tight stop, and it's a 15 or 20 pip stop. You can't really get any tighter than that for a swing trade. As long as that we have that stop in place, it's worth taking a risk and seeing if the euro does start to tumble against the dollar. But if we get a break and close above 116.30 or 116.35, especially as it's a weekly close, then that would signal to me that the dollar will go lower and the euro will go significantly higher. So I'm kind of relying on this as a confirmation that the dollar will go lower, but I can't ignore the fact that the euro is hitting this resistance level, and I can't just say to myself, well, the dollar index looks like it's going lower, so I'm going to ignore the resistance that I'm seeing. I can't do that. I have to at least test it and then be prepared to jump into a long position on a break higher. Then we should race up pretty quickly to 116.90, 117.00. Maybe a pause there, but I don't see that as a big resistance. We really could eventually head up to 118.00. So as you see, it's kind of worth a 15, 20 pip risk as long as I can jump into a long, because then I could be running this thing up almost another 200 pips in the days and weeks ahead. So that really would be a nice swing trade. I'm just not quite ready to jump into a long position on that yet. Just to add to the confusion, the Aussie's been having a really good run against the dollar. Probably one big reason why the dollar index has been weakening. We're now through the 100-day moving average, which is around 74.10. I had strong resistance at 74.00, 74.10 during the week, and then as we approached it yesterday, I decided to take it off, partly because I saw the dollar index looking weak, and partly because, I don't know, I just didn't think it would hold. Anyway, I'm glad I did take it off as a sell level, because we've clearly pierced through it, and off we go. As I say, probably adding weight to the dollar index. And the New Zealand dollar as well, also straight through the 100-day moving average. You can see up here, I should probably open this chart out a bit, shouldn't I? Really? Nothing much to say on the weekly chart down there. We're just in a massive sideways trend, aren't we? Look, just really nothing, no trend to go on particularly. But on the daily chart, we have managed to get through the 100-day moving average at least. So we've got a little bit of a trend line here at around 70.80, nothing too serious. 200-day moving average at 71.00. I'm going to use these more as targets than resistance areas. I think we can hit those. As if that wasn't confusing enough, the dollar collapsing against the Aussie and the New Zealand, we've got the dollar rocketing against the Japanese yen. So this is why I have to look at the individual pairs, and I can't just go on the dollar index. It just wouldn't make any sense to sell the dollar across the board. Now we did have some good resistance in the dollar, in the yen. We're straight through that now. We have a really good trend line going back. There we go. There, we're through it. And as far as I'm concerned, this is just going to keep going. I can't see any reason why this will come to a halt. A good, strong bull trend there for the dollar versus the yen. Well, it's more a weakness of the yen, I think, than a strengthening of the dollar, because all the yen pairs have collapsed. The Aussie yen yesterday, I had thought we had strong resistance around 83.55, 83.75. Fortunately, I got us out of those short positions before the market. Before we were stopped out, before the market took off. If you were brave enough to jump into a long position on that basis, well, you've done well. But look, an enormous run over the last month for the Aussie versus the yen, the euro yen also strengthening. So it's just yen weakness across the board. Euro yen rocketing again this week, straight through any resistance levels, as you can see. And again, well, we are testing a trend line here, but I just think this trend has got so much momentum that we can get through it. Let me just show you the trend line so you can put that on your chart if you want to. It comes from the 2015 peak, or the mid 2015 peak. So we're just testing it there. Normally I would put a lot of weight on this actually it's around 132.50. I would normally think that will hold, but because there's nothing else there, and it's just that trend line, even though it is a very long trend line, what is it, a 6-year trend line, so it is important. I don't know, I just don't feel that it's worth taking the risk on a short position with this strong momentum when the yen is clearly weakening against so many currencies. CAD yen, well, Canadian dollar has absolutely rocketed again against the yen, and I see no reason, I don't see anything that can stop us from continuing higher, put it that way. Unfortunately, it's a bit late to cash in on that yen weakness. I did sort of indicate through my report some support levels and then buy a break above some resistance levels, but it's just gone so far now. It's probably too late to try to jump in on that trend. I personally don't like trading like that. If you do, if you're happy to just keep buying it when it breaks above resistance levels, then good luck. Jump in, see how you get on. It's not for me though. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm looking at cable. Cable has had some resistance around 137.00, 137.10. Now I put that on the report earlier in the week saying that was a selling opportunity, and then as we got there again, the resistance faded away a little bit for me, so I didn't use that as a sell level. I did just use it as a target and minor resistance. Well, I probably should have used it as a sell level, although we haven't really backed away from it. We got to 137.35 and we've backed away only as far as 136.66. It looks quite strong to me, cable. It looks like it can keep going. So again, probably some weakness in the dollar against cable, against the pound rather. And the Canadian dollar is crushing the US dollar at the moment, crushing it. We've been going down. We've broken through moving average support. We're testing the 500-day moving average at around 123.00. Not sure that's going to hold. Again, I wouldn't risk a long position there. Buying it just on that moving average support alone is not a strong enough case for me. So it's been difficult for me to find trades today. That's why the trade, the cheat sheet hasn't really got a lot of trades on it. It's really just a case of continuing trends, weakening yen, weakening dollar in many cases, and a question of whether the euro holds its resistance level and whether gold holds its resistance level. DAX could be headed up towards, the DAX December contract could be headed up towards that resistance I had on the report today at around sort of 15,500, 15,600. That will be the key resistance level of the day. But the US markets, I have to say, look pretty strong. S&P sailed through the previous high for October last week's high, straight up through there, looking good. Dow Jones also looking quite good. Nasdaq has a little, I haven't updated my fibs there, got to take them off. But you can see we're pushing up. So bulls don't give up, do they? They just keep going. They just keep buying. And any opportunity the bulls can seize control, they will take that. NASDAQ has a little bit of resistance. I would be careful because the other US markets look quite strong. And I'll put that resistance level in the NASDAQ report. It is at around 15,150, 15,250 in the December contract. If you feel brave enough, if you think that the market is developing a short-term bear trend, well, then that would be the trade for you. Would I do it? I'm kind of 50-50 on it, really. I'm not sure if I want to. You can see, okay, yes, in the short term, we are building a negative trend. And even on the 4-hour chart, we have moving average resistance there. So there is an argument for it, but certainly it's not. It's one of the more risky trades of the day, selling stock markets at this moment in time. Gold, I don't mind trying a short. Obviously, we are already short around 1790, 1795 with a stop above 1800. We've got moving average resistance up there. We've got a trend line which goes all the way back to, probably might even need a monthly chart for this. Excuse me. Goes all the way back to, there we go, 2019. So it's a couple of years old. It's this trend line here, if you follow my cursor, going all the way up to here. So we've got trend line and moving average resistance. For me, that is worth trying a short in gold, because in effect, we are in still a negative trend. We're still in a downtrend. So worth a try. But we start getting up through 1800 or 1805. Certainly, weekly close above 1805 for me would be a good buy signal. And we could be racing up quite quickly, certainly to this level. 1830, 1840, I see. I see no reason why we can't get there. Nothing to stop us getting there, put it that way. All right, I hope that helps. It was a really good week at the start of the week. We had quite a good number of winning trades. Yesterday it was a case of waiting to see what happens with the euro and gold, so I don't think there were really any profits. And today, again, it is really just a case of seeing what happens with the euro and gold, so we can get some confirmation on what will happen with the dollar index. And once we've done that, we will then be able to maybe jump into some swing trade positions by Sunday night or Monday. And if we get some sort of move in the dollar like we've had in the yen, it could be a pretty profitable end to October. So good luck with that. I'll be keeping my eyes on these charts and updating you on the Telegram channel. Thanks a lot.